Hello, everybody. Okay, we are going to show a presentation, and what we want to talk is about the system, how to enhance the connectivity between, how to make better presentations using AR and VR. So what we are bringing here is some technology that comes from typically the broadcast industry. So we are enhancing the broadcast world for many years. So who we are first. So we have been 30 years doing graphics for the broadcast industry. We are a specialist company, and typically what we do is real-time graphics used in the broadcast environment. We do virtual sets, the virtual sets that are behind many of the screens you see on the TV station, or the graphics, AR graphics, like the CNBC. All the graphics that you see in the CNBC is made with Brainstorm software. When you see elections and there's bars growing, there's virtual backgrounds, this is done with our software. Okay, most of the times this is data-driven content. So we're getting data from databases or whatever and building these environments or this data to be shown in real time. So what we are, there is also some other kind of industries that use our systems, like the film industry. We were the first company to be used for pre-visualization in the AI, artificial intelligence film in the 90s. Okay. But everything that we do is always live, real-time live presentation. Okay? So, well, this is a little bit the history of the company. I'm not going to enter into detail. If you want to look to our webpage, there's a lot of information there. We do also a lot of R&D projects. And these projects during the pandemic were most of them related with bringing people remotely. So bringing people that is in a remote location to our virtual scenario or to our virtual place, and being able to have these people inside the same space as some other people that were remotely in a different location. And so some of these projects are here, for example. The teleporter, we had an agreement with Google to develop this teleporter thing that is a kind of, how to call it? This is like a control room for remote people. So you say, I want you to come in, and you have a direct talk with this person, and then this input is going to the virtual system. So it's like a front gate for it. So this is just a little video about this, what we were able to get people in the green screen, people in some other green screen in some other places remotely in the world, and connect them all together through this mechanism. Okay? Passing to the next. So the developments we did there was being able to do live broadcasting from mobile devices with a minimal signal latency, and we also investigated some AI keying algorithm that, by the way, they were not very, very good. But it is what it is nowadays. And we developed a lot of the knowledge inside the company about how to send WebRTC signals through the network across different, using HTML5 from a laptop or from just a phone. Okay. So next. We also work in another project called Admire, subsidized by the European Union, where we were able to do also similar things like extracting people from different places, having this virtual control room that was an extension of the first thing I was explaining. These were some results. So some of the people were TV stations that were testing these technologies that we were developing. And we even integrated with some XR stage. There's one person in the stage and one person that is in the real world. Well, these were the developments. So we were able to capture remote participants with smartphone, stream the video to the broadcaster studios, insert their key signal in the virtual set. So the product that is coming out from there is Edison Go. This is an application for the OS system. So it's and here what we are using is this application. It is bringing the video signal of the iPad and the tracking from the iPad through an NDI signal to our render system. So in only this device, let's see. So it's an iOS app, and we are sending the video and the tracking of the iPhone or the iPad. And through the NDI connectivity, we are sending the tracking information in the metadata. And we can either record something with tracking information or send it live. Okay? So what are the challenges? Meet the audience demand for rich content, and how are we going to do that? Reducing the carbon footprint. Well, this is another of the challenges. We want to reduce the carbon footprint, reducing the need to bring guests to the sets, so use remotely. We want to optimize the time and look of remote connections for news, sports, and events, so we can send a person, just a person with an iPad or an iPhone, and have enough information to recreate later something happening there. So what if we can send a remote talent feed from anywhere using just a smartphone? That will be nice. No need to send a real camera, a team, so just on a smartphone. Integrate any talent into the live broadcasting or event using these standard technologies. Just WebRTC is HTML5. It is an iOS app, okay? And being able to send all this with just the smartphone. These are some use cases, but before going to the use cases, here we are showing also. So, okay, some use cases of this. You're watching. So this is the iPad. It is. I don't have anything here. You can look at. Go move a little bit this. So this is in the place. We can choose where we want to put our augmented reality. Can you choose the floor, for example? So put something there in the floor. Select the corner. Mm-hmm. No, I don't see it. Put it here in the corner. Yeah. So you can put augmented reality in any place using the tracking of the iPad, and when moving, it is staying there. It is sending the video and the tracking information to the render engine. Render is in this laptop, and this one is sending back, so he has feedback, and I am outputting the signal to do the news or to do whatever I need. And I am able to do this presentation as augmented reality inside the real world, just with this thing sent via HTML5 and WebRTC to the remote location. So if I go to the next, this is a little bit how we are doing it. We could be sending from the iPad to the render and the feedback, and then outputting the signal, okay? Or it can be like this. So I can have any background, or I can have a green screen. I am sending through the internet the data. The metadata of the tracking information is embedded in there. And this is going to the master control room, where I have control of where I put this or I output this. And at the same time, I'm giving feedback to the user through this. Another use case is teletransporting a person just using a mobile device. So if I have a green screen, I can send this image to the main stage and use it in a virtual environment, or adding to a real environment. This is an example of it. He's in a green screen, and in the left side, in the right side, he's in a virtual environment. It could be a remote location, or it can be a local location. Or here we are teletransporting our talent to something that was pre-recorded in Broadway. So when we record, we can do it live or record the data of the place with the tracking information embedded and reuse it later. Here. This is another example. We were first recording and then using the data later. And this can be done as we're doing. I am pressing the presentation from here, but the presentation could be also triggered directly from the device. So because I see the feedback there, I can go through my elements in the presentation also in the other side. So we can also send remote guests from any location. This is. Okay. The next. This to this. So getting somebody and having in here in this example, I was in a studio and Miguel was in Madrid in a totally different place, and we were making a real talk about products in this case. So summarizing, we are able to teleport guests to shows or to or from remote locations. We are embedding the tracking of the iPad or iPhone, which is good enough for this kind of transmissions. It is not 100% accurate as a tracking system, but a normal tracking system for a virtual production is from 30 to 60,000, and this is less than 1,000. And the tracking quality is good enough to make presentations and to transfer the people from one place to another. Okay? And we can also record the tracking information in the movie and reuse it later, which is very convenient. You can go to Broadway, record something, and talk later from this place in real time. And this is basically what we wanted to show. There is a couple examples here of the things that are done with this kind of technology. So there you can see very small place and sending people to a very large studio, or making conference. That was a medical conference that was totally made with virtual people. Sending the person, the anchor, to the football field without being really there. And walking from the studio to the football field also, same. Or talking with somebody that is in a totally different location. He was there in this green screen. And this is all. If you have questions, it's time for that. Thank you. Yes.
So, when you have a production company, I mean, you have 3 or 4 users, you need 4 softwares. Anyway, I was trying to say that my question was that if I had 2 or 3 people creating the content, do I have to have 3 times the software, or is only one server?
No,
or
there is one server that is receiving all the feeds.
And they can start adding it.
Yes.
And doing the editing.
Yeah.
Okay. And the power of the processor and the computer has to be
The CPU is a normal CPU. You
Okay.
need a high-end GPU on the. In this case, it's a laptop. Typically, we sell it in a workstation, but
minimal of the RAM. What about the RAM?
it is not the most important thing. The
Oh,
important
okay.
part is the GPU. In our case.
Thank you.
When you talk about remote locations, you're talking about like grid locations. Can this go like off-grid where there isn't utilities?
Can you put it closer? Yeah.
You're talking about grid locations when you talk about remote, like in other cities and countries. But can this go off-grid where there isn't, where they have satellite systems? Can it still
This is
work at
using
the-
internet. So
there has to be internet connection.
wherever there is an internet
Okay,
connection
all right, thank
can
you.
be used.
Yeah, I was curious as to what you use to develop the application. Is this based off of ARKit? Are you guys using
The
a lot of
application
that?
in the iOS
Yeah.
is using AR Toolkit, yes.
And do you also have support or a version for Android?
For?
Android?
No, not at this point.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, thank you for listening and have a good show.